It's getting hot out there, ladies and gentlemen. It's getting hot. You see this place here? This is the place where you end up. Trading markets. If you're not part of the platoon. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another stream. We're in Tonto's office here. And I'd like to welcome all the new spies to the platoon. You may have seen the announcement, but we have opened up the gates. You're in a good place now. Your days are no longer going to resemble a place like this. We had another banger, a setup that you could have traded. We were expecting a little drop, although no call came to take profit. But today we're going to take a look at a couple of setups, a couple of charts, and tell you what I think. Maybe for the first time ever, we'll have a hands-on field training exercise about how to manage underwater positions. Now I got one going on purpose. I'm going to show you what to do with it. But of course, thank you to each and every one of you for tuning in, liking, sharing, subscribing, hitting that notification bell. And MarketSpy, you're now part of the family in the platoon. This will give you a good start if you've been wondering, pondering, and just not sure. You'll see how things are done inside of the platoon, and hopefully that's going to give you some opportunities, a couple of charts here and there that you can make money. I guarantee you take a trade, 2 trades, boom, you're good to go. You're set. And yeah, a couple of things going on today, all right? Tonto.
Yes, senor.
Get us out of here. Your office sucks. All right, bring us back to the real desk.
Sure, senor. Whatever you say. Your wish is my command.
Of course it is. If you don't do it, I'm going to replace you. Simple as that.
Senor, I like your sarcasm.
No, I'm for real, Tonto. I'm not being sarcastic at all. As a matter of fact. Transfer us over, will you? It's kind of hot in here. You have no AC. The end of summer, I understand. But you need to really fix this place up.
I'm working on it, senor.
All right. Bring us back to the desk. And voila. Ladies and gentlemen, hello. Good to see you. First chat that went live, Nillerton. Big shout out. Josh, happy anniversary. MarketSpy and us, happily married. Simon, good evening to you too, sir. Lucivert, load it up. The rocket ship is gonna need some fuel, and we got it right here. Taratu. Hey guys. Hello. Welcome. Mutlu Project. Mutlu Crypto here. Deciphering these YouTube monikers. Really appreciate it, because sometimes I don't know who's who. But anyone's welcome and everyone's welcome. Here's the thing, guys. I have this brand new setup here, and it's a little different. So last time we talked about me looking at the Battle Stations channel, and you got me salivating. So I went out. Last few days I've been playing. I've been missing in action. Not really. We had a setup that we were watching, and we closed it today. It was a profitable trade. But I had a chance to step outside. It's like, this guy's a hermit. He never goes out. I do go out. What I mean by step outside is actually go and shop. Usually I got other people doing that for me. But this time I physically went out to a on-site location where they had this beautiful, beautiful Samsung Plaza. And I looked at all the options. I did the reviews, you know, order books, charts, anything fast-paced. You need a high refresh monitor to keep up with all the digits and all the numbers. Right? Right, absolutely. And so I picked up this monitor called Samsung G9 Neo. And let me tell you, you can't go back. You cannot go back to flat monitors after this, baby. You set it up with 16 little charts of pretty much everything you need right on one screen. Stretch it out. Tiny little 1080p squares, you know, 16 of them. On the top row, the bottom row. And man, it's a sight to behold. It's a glorious, glorious thing. And so I'm a little disorientated today because I have 4 screens going on right now. And this thing over here. And so we may experience a little bit of motion sickness together. Because I'm not sure what screen is responsible for. I have a couple of PCs that are plugged in. And to be honest, I'm not sure which one's which right now. It's a bad wiring job is what it is, what it comes down to. But I was thinking, you know, I'm going to play around with this thing for a little bit. And maybe in the future, if I really, really, really like it, I might actually go ahead and do a review here on this channel about what kind of gear do you need as a trader from my humble perspective. I'll give you a breakdown, my opinion about what's good for us traders, you know. But sometimes, you know, an overkill, it has its own benefits. It comes with its own benefits. So I have joined the curved family, ultra wide family, and I think for traders, see, here at Cryptopocalypse now we have always been forward thinking. The way we analyze things, our methods, our tools, MarketSpy, Bybit Pro, our approach. Hell, my webcam is a $3,000 camera collecting dust. Why? Because you deserve it. So we bring the best, and I think in the future, all traders are going to be switching. Give it 10 years to these curved monitors, wide screens, because it just makes sense. High refresh rates, so you get those order books displaying properly. Probably you're hearing about this for the first day. You're like, huh? Refresh rates, order books? What does that have to do with anything? Trust me. When the time comes and it's ready for us to ascend and transcend our current state of being, and we go into the trading books territory, we'll talk about all that. Just too early. We still have people figuring out how to trade pyramids. It's really simple, but you know, it's sometimes we all have different learning aptitude, and it takes time. And once we get that review out the way, perhaps we can talk about giveaways in the form of these monitors to one lucky member out there. But not yet. I feel like we need to, you know, you guys need to spread the word a little bit to get more people on board with us. There's a lot of the traders out there. Let me tell you, the title of this video, Bitcoin Mystery Chart. It's not really a mystery, but these are the kind of things that we have to resort to in order to get people's attention. We have to say, here's a quick way to make $1 million. Click. And these are the ways to make $1 million, just not overnight. Not overnight. So 1% family. For the market spies that are outside of the platoon and they have no clue what is going on, they've been trading out there on their own. They thought MarketSpy was a clone of Cypher or some other garbage out there, and they were wrong. But we have this whole method to it, different strategies, and most importantly, we aim to be in the 1% bracket. And you can't claim that unless you're making 1% every other day or daily consistently. With the tools that we have right now, it should be so easy. You should be beating banks and their rates, savings, interest rates, left and right. Just everyday compounding. You should be doing great. So, Spy Masters, welcome to the family. Also, just to let you know, I was going to take my time and set it up properly. Get the charts on the screen. But I have this emergency button. And what it does is it's a red button on the desk. When I hit it, the thing goes live. There's no going back. So I accidentally hit it and here we are. So I had to come up with the title for the video. And I was like, you know what? We're doing this now. There's no going back. Because that red button, the taking off button, I'll show you. I'll take a picture of it. Once you press it, this thing is live. There's no going back. So we might as well take advantage and spend this Friday together. Start the day right. Simon. Great ideas, but this is not the place. You can't possibly expect me to take that request, copy it, make a note for it, pass it on to the dev team. Discord is the place. You drop it off, it'll be reviewed, it'll be tested, and if it makes sense, it'll make it to the final version. Good idea, though. Good idea. So let's take a little break. Not a break. Let's take a little. Like I said, this was kind of unexpected for me. So we're gonna jump into. We're gonna go to the kitchen, grab all the necessary snacks and drinks or what have you. And you see my head? You'll see this. This is what the widescreen 49-inch 16,000 by 900 aspect ratio does to you. Just end up doing this. Looking like you're constantly, perpetually in disbelief. Shaking your head, going left to right, going, wow. And then by the time you get from left to right, you've forgotten why you were there. You have to go back and be like, oh yeah, that link. Okay, go over here. What was it again? 180. There goes your neck. I'll get used to it. that little drop that we had. Remember that little thing that we were expecting to go back down a little bit? We had the nice clean red arrow pointing towards the blue box support. Never quite reached it. And it's unfortunate because it was a good trade on my side. I don't know if you took it, personal preference, right? But for me, every time I share something, I'm part of it. I'm not like other traders where they go, maybe, and then they're secretly, like, trying to get a trade going. And if it's green, they go, here I am. No, every single time. All the archives on Discord, if you go to 1000 BC, before crypto, the old age, you will see that I was part of those trade setups. Now, the one that we just had was incredible. I think it was quite nice, given that price action was mainly fairly dead. And then it took us almost 2 days to get to that point. But it met the target, almost. When we have those setups, for those that are new to the platoon, I just want you to know that it's a directionality that matters for us. What you do there is very personal because you have MarketSpy that will trigger bearish signals. And if our bias, my bias, the setup that I find, and I share for the family, is showing us that if you go short, then it's most likely to play out in that regard. Then you're looking for those signals. You're adding on top of that layer your own analysis. You're looking at MarketSpy signals, and you're saying lower time frames are starting to look a little weak. The directionality that CR shared is showing us that we're going down. So I'm going to try to play my trades down. And how we take profit, well, we have a method for that too. But I usually give you a little visual distance to where we can expect this price action to take us. And sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't reach our target. But directionally, it goes there. We just don't know how far, and that's not up to me. That's not up to it. There's no wizard that's alive that can tell you how that's going to play out. So here's one thing that's different about the platoon is that we're only interested in the direction on the intraday setup. Short term, like for example, tomorrow, what can we expect for tomorrow? 2 days from now. We don't care about like macro, Bitcoin's going on. We're traders. And so my goal is to help you with that. And if you have MarketSpy, the rest of it becomes so much easier. Just don't counter trade it. Trust me. But before we kick off and look at the next chart, I have a big question here for anyone that's coming in from outside of our community. In the comments right now, tell me, what do you find that is so valuable in channels like Crypto Moon, or Carl the Moon, or whatever his name is, Crypto? Because I see a lot of comments. I go to that channel, I look at the comments, skip the video, just look at the comments, and everyone's like, wow, exactly, as predicted. How did you play that? Like, what are you looking for? Help me understand. Are you looking for a specific trade setup with stop losses, distance, exits? Because honestly, I'm not seeing it. Anyways, I hope you're enjoying the format and you understand why we do the things that we do here the way we do them. This is trading, not speculating. We need to know exactly what is going to happen next so we can extract a little bit of value from that price action directionally. Grape is great. Now, I was talking with someone and people love the pit. Ladies and gentlemen, this place here, 16,000 by 9 million aspect ratio. 12K resolution here on this chart. Inside of the window, it shows you the money. It's just one thing that was missing, and people were saying, oh, I can't see your P&L. I don't know how that's important, but the P&L will be displayed here. Each and every video, every stream, it'll be hold on. You see what I mean? I'm lost inside of my screens. I don't know where I am right now. I don't know. Okay, so this is screen number 1. And this is screen number 2. No. Yeah. You can't screw up on the stream. You have to have perfect streams, or you're gonna lose viewers. Come on. This is really important to you guys. Give me 5 minutes. Let me fix this. I have no idea what's going on. Break number 2. We'll be back shortly. think we're back in business. Are we back in business? I think so. Yeah, we're back in business. Just let me check the sound. Sound profile here is looking good. The pit is open. All right, so like I was saying, right there on the TV is where you're gonna find your daily P&L. For those that that are curious, how did it go? Well, that's pretty much right there. For the MS educational channel account, not a test net. Been growing that baby since day one and it's getting fat, even though it's a small one, but it's working its way up consistently. So, bazam, we had this arrow. We had to wait for it to go up a little bit, and from here down we went. So what really happened? Let's do a little review. Learning never stops. This is another great opportunity to understand what's happening on the charts and take advantage of this information. First of all, why the drop? Well, everything was looking like we had a couple of cracks in the shell, so we call this long-term trend flow the shell. When we see those red little cracks in it, we're seeing signs of weakness. All right, and it's hard to recover from that. All right, price may tell you whatever it wants to tell you. It may tell you that, oh no, I'm going up. No. Eventually, you're going down. Today's bounce, however, we could have held it lower, but it was time to close it. And unfortunately, the time to close it was when it had already bounced by 3%. This is when I was like, you know what, take profit and run. And so the trade was closed right about here, and our entry was somewhere in the vicinity here. So we had 1.5 to 2% drop for the taking right here in this range, and this took this took 2 days. Yeah, exactly 2 days, and we've been offline for 2 days pretty much. But directionally, I can almost guarantee that look, if you're not convinced yet, the majority of traders out there simply cannot and will not risk predicting these short-term movements. You have to be really eagle-eyed to see what we see here. That's why a lot of traders resort to macro, and they have this defense mechanism, which is great advice. You should look at the daily and weekly charts. But my argument is simple: is that these people don't want to put their reputation as traders and analysts and their professionalism on the line by making intraday calls. Why? Because they suck. They can't. They will fail most of the time. Since the beginning, we had maybe 2-3 bad trades that were just one of them. I clearly remember them. A little scalp, like a year ago. We're like, yeah, it's time, and it wasn't the time. Stopped out. Then on a 60K drop, we had to work a little harder. Just recently, we had a little pump where it was expected that we would go short on it, but we didn't. Now, what saves our butts here is management. All right, you're not simply a trader. You're a money manager here, and your job is to evaluate, assess, execute, and preserve the capital that you have. Grow it as a secondary objective. And I thought that was a beautiful setup here. It was going down. Well, right now it's looking like we bounced away from. You know, to the left over here, to the right, we have our weekly chart, and Over here, we have a monthly setup. And it was said that perhaps we'll find ourselves chopping through this green box. And I don't know if we'll break out. If we do break out, I'll probably chase it. But it's looking like this green chop zone is still a thing until we break above. So it's a very interesting situation here where Bitcoin just now is kind of sitting on top of that R1. And it'll probably sit here for a while, maybe go down a little bit. But if it makes that run, if it makes that break here after a while, we should expect that to happen within the next, based on this, maybe 2 to 4 hours. Okay. If anything, we're gonna have a chop. So looking at this orb over here. Looking at this orb over here, it looks like we'll spend some time ranging here. So either we go directly up, or we will stay within this range. So what's happening right now? At this precise location here, I currently have 10K contracts open as a safety net, just because, you know, I want to be a part of that if it makes a run for it. Okay. And on the other hand, because I know we'll be ranging here and not immediately dropping non-stop, I also have orders to back it up and average it out down to the 200 moving average here. So I think the chop will give me an opportunity here within this range, which is a daily ATR, to exit a trade if it goes bad. Okay. We're very close to the top of R1, but right now it is officially on lower time frames, 1 hour, looking like a triple top. So in my training, my understanding, when we have resistance can be identified, a true resistance is represented by 3 consecutive attempts to go up and failing. So that represents true resistance to me. So for now, there's definitely something in the way here that is not allowing price to move forward. So this could be marking the top, which is R1. It's not really exact, you know. So sometimes don't let this fool you. Don't let this be like, oh, we broke and we're retesting R1 and now we're above it. While on weekly we're still like up to the orange line over here as our main resistance point. So if we post a high over here and retrace a little bit, I think that's a buy, because we have just so in this range over here, there's a possibility that we go slightly higher, but it is a conventional classical textbook triple point resistance, which makes it true resistance. Now it's happening on lower time frames, so it's not definitive. You know, your boy Tone Vase and all these other extremely careful traders, not financial advice, will tell you that we need at least 3 touches like that on a daily chart. They'll be right, except Bitcoin is very young and its price history does not show that we have daily triple resistance points. Basically, it runs it or it doesn't. So it happens on lower time frames, and lower time frames here are they have more weight right now, for me anyway. I don't know about others, but to me this represents an immediate level of resistance. However, I think that if it were to break it, so if we look at the daily chart and say if we were to to put a C dot here, which may happen soon, and it looks pretty strong still, that this may actually run a little higher before retracing significantly. All right, it's not going to stick. So if it makes a run for it, it's going to be a lightning fast in and out trade here, which is more than enough for us, and it's good. It hasn't consolidated here enough for it to be a point of concern. So far we have a double top on the daily, but it hasn't consolidated enough for it to be another top, so I think it goes a little higher for now. All right, not too much, but just a little, maybe 300, 500 points, and I want to be a part of that, so that's why I have 10K open to take advantage of that situation there. The parameters to take profit here on this 10K, whatever the range, were originally set to these values over here. However, I'm not entirely sure that this is the right way to do it, because we can actually up these numbers up to 1,000, maybe 200, 150. That looks much safer to do. Now, if this were to come down here, and we talked about how it would retest this trend line, maybe have a bounce, and if we would have, there's still a chance that this may come down, retest this, and then break it, then we go really low. We go back to 35s, but I don't think it's happening clearly, so we're not looking at that right now, not immediately anyways. This resistance is, I think the orange line will get tapped. All right, but we're at the top of the monthly resistance and above the CPR, so generally price will make a convincing move here, and eventually what will happen is that it'll hang around here and then start falling, and I expect it to maybe rise to 49.50. There's a point over here where there's a little convexity here that we can experience towards the grind line here, where we break it and it starts moving slightly lower towards this level. So that would be a significant point right here. This orange line flip, I don't think we'll hold it based on this developing CPR. That's my take on it. So I'm not looking to go long more than 50K. Up to, there's still some wiggle room here. Over that, not so sure. That can and probably will change in the coming days. But the key area here is this orange, actually it's yellow, sorry. It's these yellow crosses that you have been watching and seeing them play out every time. So that's essentially a close, and traders, classical traders, and a lot of algorithms are based on evaluating the daily open, daily close. And if daily is so important for short-term traders, then you have to realize that when we're dealing with monthly or weekly setups, in this case, like I said, this chart over here is our monthly setup, or weekly, and this is a monthly, and we just bounced away from the weekly previous close. And so that is it's a very bullish sign. So profit taking is absolutely necessary when that happens, and when we see like a move away from it. Trailing steps got triggered but did not close below. So I think one more attempt to go higher, and then we come back. We eventually come back. I still think there's resistance up ahead of us. It's getting stronger. There's a chance that 47 level gets run, and then we have an immediate liquidity crisis up there, and we'll face some selling pressure where people will simply take profit, and that will trigger a little bit of a sell-off. So watching this grind line is essential. We have talked about when evaluating and assessing these setups, how we have the 50 moving average is the same as this grind line right here. So you can almost see that next time we touch the grind line over here, it'll be a small long opportunity, but it's also, it'll be weakening because we have 1, 2, and the third touch, whenever that happens, is probably going to be the weakest one, and it'll be time to cool off at that point. So why this drop over here? Why this drop? I have marked this area for the platoon on a 12-hour chart. And while it's a bull indication, where you look forward to buying the dip towards this area, okay? So anything that goes down towards it, you're looking to accumulate and buy into it. For other traders that are looking for immediate price action, so that means skipping one move ahead. So you're buying what's falling, or you're shorting this crossover because you know this is bearish. And if you had done that, you have your first trigger candle exactly on the crossover right here. We talked about this, and that was about 3 to 4 streams ago, which is like 3 to 4 setups ago. And we talked about how this thing is going to cross over, and that's going to be, will create bearish price action. So you could have capitalized on this and went short on this, and you have your very clear wicks over here where you could have thrown in a stop. Very good risk to reward ratio, and you could have captured like these 2 or even 3 candles directionally here. So in lower time frames, obviously it was a no-brainer when you looked at 15 over here. You saw a crossover that was not too far away from the top, so it represented a continuation trade. And so these candles were yours for the taking, and that's a short setup here. If you wanted to be very, very careful, you had your confirmation here. Again, 3% price drop. I think it's pretty amazing. But we were expecting it to retrace, and it did. I was hoping that it would go slightly lower towards the monthly open. I guess that's going to happen in the next couple of weeks now. Not immediately, but we will revisit this yellow monthly open at 41. Be ready for that. It's only a matter of time. But as you can see, there's a lot that can happen here in the meantime. And so don't rush into it. Like I said, weekend, let it pass. We'll see if we have a trade. These crossovers, always keep in mind that when the 50 EMA crosses 200, it represents the initial cross. So you're looking at a 15-minute chart. It's not a bull cross, although it looks like it's, you know, price is going up, but it represents an initial crossover of the price against the 50 moving average right here. So what you're thinking in your mind is that, okay, by the time I get this signal, right, it's already like bearish. It is more likely that I'll make more money by looking into a short here. So 15-minute time frame, we're looking at 1 ATR values, and you've had a couple of them over here, pretty much on point, both of them, but it's a lower time frame, so it's not exact, and signals are short-lived. That's a very interesting way of looking at it. And there we go, we took a little bit of profit there. The trade is almost exhausted, and 3,000 contracts remain open. I guess 30%, 5, 2010, so 50% was close, $15 right after the entry there. So let's see if it goes higher. Bounce away from the 50 and away from the R1. Could carry us through. Could carry us through here. For sure. Recovery. This is all due to volatility and structural change over here, right? So you clearly don't care about the baseline reclaims or anything else, and you have tons of short signals here that are pointing down, 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 down. You wait for these pullbacks on green squares, get into shorts on these guys over here. First baseline reclaim, support on the weekly close. We bounce away, reclaim, retest, moving, and dragon skin, a couple of checkpoints, and brought us all the way here. Now we have another setup that's coming up. That's, like I said, it's likely to carry us through here. So be ready for that. If you have any longs open, you should hold them for a little bit. No harm in that. Like I said, I have an immediate buy order that's sitting in this in the dragon skin. So this goes down for any reason, I'm gonna buy this range right now on this flag. Yeah. So what are we looking at overall? The uptrend remains intact, for the most part. Any dip, there's an opportunity. So basically, when you have price action like this, you're actually you're both long and short, and in both scenarios, you're you should be coming out in profit. Now, if it's a I don't care about these Mag 7 setups. They're not in the beginning of the red wave. They're kind of like at the end. So all I know is that after the green comes the red, and if one is not long from all the way, like from here, or even the second attempt from here, then just, you know, doesn't make sense to chase it over at these levels. This is a 6-hour time frame, right? So we had a drop, the dragon skin rejection. The sponge effect, the trampoline is always a play, and anything that's red inside of the green, it means a short-term pullback in the longer-term uptrend. So why the dip is the official Bitcoin's national anthem right now. We buy the dip when short turns red. Anyways, you see it, I see it. Good stuff, but we can expect this to be a little headachy. But yeah, who does this? Who does this? We draw a little line precisely, and we're like, that's our next play here. A little short setup, nice and sweet, quick, out in profit. This jump here, I have no clue. That was not part of the plan. The plan was to, if we're buying, to buy lower, but that didn't happen. So what are you gonna do? The market is the market is the market. It decides. We follow. So it's telling us, I don't want to. Not immediately. It wants to, just not now. Give it some time. Lucifer says, off topic. Anything trading related is on topic. Lately, I have been trading triangles. What are your requirements for a triangle? Does the price have to hit the line? I made a video on this topic. Doesn't have to hit 3 times. I watched the golden triangle. Yeah, that's the one. Golden triangle video a couple of times, but this was not mentioned in the video. Like the requirements. I don't know. The way it works is that you see a pattern, you anticipate a squeeze, you see if there's weakness on momentum and a setup on Armageddon, for example, you move in that direction. These patterns are highly visible and everyone's looking at them, so they're not super reliable as my first go-to price action information, but enough people see it, and the bots as well, they'll move price in that direction. It's just that the problem is you can have great setups and squeeze patterns, and how do you exit those? That's, if you can figure that part out, which is ATR values is what it comes down to. You exit on ATR, measure the distance to the base, take 50% profit on half the distance of the base, because a triangle is split up into 3 stages. To form a triangle, you need at least 3. So you're gonna have something along the lines of let's just say you have a pattern like this, and you have like some prices going and it comes down here. So it took like 1, 2, 3, 4 pretty much, and here even though traders know put a stop here if it breaks and goes lower, or put a stop here if it breaks up and goes higher, what will happen, however, most of the time, is that price will go up, back down, retrace, and then continue. And then you're like, okay, so that wasn't the triangle. Maybe it's an expanded triangle now. That's what happens. You're constantly tracking it because it's shape shifting, it's morphing into other patterns. And so our job is to not get trapped in this, or if we do get trapped, how do we actually survive the trap? It's no problem, you can get trapped, but can you actually survive it? So what do we do with this? Triangle setup like this would also, let's say it's a classic obedient or a break, it goes immediately up. So I find on Bitcoin, this retest doesn't work. It tends to like recover immediately if it's moving, or if it's a true triangle. Here's the trick about these patterns. When it posts a candle like this, boom, it's already too late, because it just made the target. It just made the target. You see what I'm saying? So chasing it, there's no point. It goes up a little bit, and at this point, you don't know. You don't know if it's going to go up or go down or go sideways, but you had a setup. So these are not really useful on lower time frames, although if you have a pattern like this, like I said, let's say this is the length of the baseline, and you expect price to go down, and let's say it breaks. I say take 50% profit right here and throw a stop at entry. This is the most safest way, because oftentimes, half a distance is where it's going to go. There's usually going to be some sort of moving average or something that will prevent. So basically the base of the triangle cannot be relied upon if you have or the trade should not be taken if you have immediate resistance or immediate support right below where the pattern is occurring. So you're seeing the pattern, but if you focus only on that and ignore what's above and below, especially on MarketSpy, then they may trick you. That's how a lot of people get into it, and they think, oh, I figured it out. So there has to be, it cannot be near resistance. It has to be kind of like in the middle of nowhere where the breakout can occur to go towards that resistance or towards that support. And because price moves in like these Fibonacci sequences or little quarters, if you split a full candle into like little quarters is how it moves. I think taking 50% the first time, measuring the base of the triangle, for example. So instead of relying on this, you'll take half of it. We always split them, and we understand that when a breakdown occurs, only half of it is your target, and the rest you'll have to evaluate. So taking some profit here, all or 50% is highly recommended. And a stop above the candle is not recommended. A stop at entry is recommended, whatever the entry is. Simply because if price goes back up and bounces from that, and you have a failed breakout, and price starts to climb, it's not gonna retest it, go sideways, go down. Traders are gonna be like, retest, breakdown, good to go. Here's my short setup. Now it's going to flow and fall down and down and down. No, it doesn't work like that. So if it bounces, you better have a stop at entry. It's not worth it keeping it right here, because what's the point if it's going to run it? Now you're losing money on your stop and the distance from your entry to the stop. It is horrible. That's why stops, I don't know. I'm not into them. I'm not into stops. Recent example, we had a beautiful setup right here. I mean, how disgusting is this? Where was it? Boom, right here. All right, so you have something like this. Could be a little triangle. And then a breakdown happens. So a full candle closes outside of this. Supposedly this was the low. So it breaks the low, but does not post a lower low. So price doesn't go and post a low below this low. So something's off here. It's not a true breakdown. The dilemma here is that if you're not part of this, to go to this low, if you're not capturing this, so what's the point, right? That breakdown doesn't mean anything. At the same time, it can grind up like this, and you're waiting for one day, 4-6 hour bars, and it's grinding up against the bottom of this triangle, like, and it can go on forever like this, and it can keep going, and then go down, right? Even though the break occurred here. So you have to kind of understand that what the traders see, the market is probably going to do the opposite of that, especially if it's way too obvious, too easy. I don't know. I just feel like there's so much momentum here, and you have to understand that maybe this breakdown is not going to really push lower. But for sure, those things are, I never have binary. I don't recommend it. I've never seen anyone do it professionally when you have A or B. If your rules are rigid, like 3 taps, otherwise it doesn't count, or like 2 attempts to break out, otherwise it's not real. Sometimes once is all it takes. Sometimes nothing. Sometimes there is no pattern. Sometimes it develops a pattern and it keeps developing and it keeps developing. Just when you see one, it's actually a quarter or a fraction of the whole pattern that's being painted. It's a whole thing. Welcome to trading, right? I mean, but yeah, very, very interesting. I find that price action is most interesting to observe rather than trade. Trading it can be a frustrating experience. But if you have a trained eye, you know, it becomes a little easier, especially if you stick to one instrument. So you cannot take those triangles and apply them to whatever market you choose, right? It has to be like, if we talked about Bitcoin, that's what it does. But momentum is such a simple concept that to understand is that it takes a while for people to realize that we have topped out. So even though your analysis is correct and you're seeing the top literally staring at you, it just doesn't make any sense for it to go higher. It will continue to go higher because of momentum, because there's the remainder of people that are underinvested that can't take it any longer, and they will push the price above the local high top just a little further, and then bam, get smacked up there, and then we have a big red elevator candle because they just overheated the market. They shorted the fuse. You know, that's what happens. And so the top could be like in this range, right? Could be like right over here. But they'll keep pushing it until there's no one left. But by no means is it a continuation. You start going sideways like this, you know, eventually you're gonna have a breakdown. It's gonna come. Watch. So momentum is, I rely on it a lot, but I don't trade it as in like breakout and momentum, two different things. Breakout is the ignition, and it could fail. Like when you start your car and it goes right, and it dies right away. You realize there's no fuel in it. But that first turn of that key, the ignition, it kicks in, and you feel like there she goes, but not really. Something else comes up, and you realize it's not happening. But that's breakout trading, right? Momentum is when it's already moving, and you realize you press that brake. It doesn't matter. You're gonna have that little skid price action where it just goes sideways. You know, brakes were initiated right here, but it goes like, to a stop, goes the other way, right? So usually that's how you look at momentum, and pair that with your squeeze patterns, because the ignition, the point of ignition is the squeeze pattern. But a quality one, right? A big pattern, if you can find one, is going to last for a little while if it's real, right? So sometimes it's good to just observe, find one, let it shoot out of that squeeze, and then let it run for a little while and see that momentum is now accelerating in that direction, and just go with the flow, you know, because it's going to be really hard to stop that. You have a couple of super big red daily candles that are transforming into a weekly candle 7 days in a row, just dumping, and boom, you have one first red candle, and you're buying daily ATR values, but it just keeps going lower and lower and lower 7 days in a row, non-stop, 24 hours. Little pullbacks get faded, pullbacks get faded. That's how you know you've broken out of something major. There was something there. So identified late breakout is the best breakout. So once it happens and it kind of starts moving, I'm not talking about these legs over here, these impulses. I hate these. Look at it. Once dies off, second kind of starts crippled price action, another one, and these spikes, they look bullish, but to me, like, if you're not able to be a part of this and capture these big candles, then what's the point, right? Once they happen, what's the point? They die automatically right away. It's very annoying. I don't like it. So I don't really care about this, how bullish it looks. I think the more it does this, the more tired it'll get, and eventually we're gonna have like a slow bleed out, this unbelievable sort of drag the cat by its tail price action, where it's going to decline and go lower and lower and lower. So mainly right now I'm looking at this trend line right here, and I'm expecting a third tap, and I'll probably trade it, but be very conservative. when that happens. Right now, this doesn't make any sense to me. This level will get run. I think the orange line will get run. I think we'll see 48, 49. If it stays here any longer, it's bound to rocket up a little bit. So it's just that, you know, we just had a little pullback. I did not buy this. We sold it. Now, if you waited for the one move ahead strategy that we have, where you wait for it to fall and then you buy into it, who's the winner here? Short sellers or longs, if they're just getting in on this? Well, we were shorting this from a couple of days. Now today we had a few candles that went up, and it's the same thing. This was a pullback, and so is this. Now, is it going to continue? If it's going to continue, then you should have a number of contracts here and buying from below. And that's what I have. As a matter of fact, it's already sold a little bit. I'm gonna throw more. Let it grow a little bit. If it declines and goes towards this, we'll have one more bounce somewhere around here. Professional traders, they are struggling with Bitcoin's price action because they're they have been trading so many years stuck on traditional instruments that when they have like a flip, support gets flipped, resistance gets flipped to support, and they're so used to it that they assume that, oh, it's going to continue. Bitcoin is simply going to flip, fail, and then do nothing, basically. So that doesn't really mean that it's going to continue. A lot of traders say, I don't understand. I talk to my friends and they trade ETFs, and they say, I don't understand Bitcoin. I don't understand how it moves. Why does it do the things that it does? So this volatility, not everyone can handle it. So people don't like it, you know. You have to be very, very careful with this, because these, unfortunately, all the material that we read and have access to, it's all about SR flips, resistance, support, but we have seen Bitcoin run resistances and break supports like it's not even there. So that's pretty good. 3 out of 4. 3 out of 4 targets. Put a stop loss at halfway of my take profit target and got stopped out. Here's my issue with this, right? Win 3 trades, get stopped out once. Now look at this chart over here. Look at it. What do you see? I see where the stops are from over here. I'm not even gonna move the chart. Can you see where the stops are? Where would they be? Now go ahead and take your ruler and measure the distance and tell me what the distance is. So while you have 3 winning trades, you get that one losing trade, which used a stop loss, wiped out all of those trades, most likely, or did some heavy damage that brought you back to square one. I have issues with how people use stop losses in crypto. I think that's what keeps most people in this never-ending cycle of profit loss instead of profit loss, profit loss. You know, there's a big difference, and that can only be achieved with proper size allocation, risk management, and less stops where there's no need for one. Now, a lot of times like this, for example, right, we're filling in on our positions right now. we're looking at momentum. We have identified support. We know that price volatility is high, so it's not like we're gonna get filled and price is not gonna do anything. It's still gonna jump around. Look at it, right? So if you're holding windows 1 to 4 hours, I recommend people trade based on momentum, strength, price action, and then instead of using a stop loss, try to play with your averages and slow accumulation phases and wait to add more to the stop loss area where people have their stops. Make it your entry. And if you're doing it full time, it's going to take 4 hours of babysitting it. Maybe 12. Play a game, read a book, watch a movie. Be nearby and watch how you stay in the red, and then how your stops would have been hit if you had them. Watch in horror how you go deep underwater, and then come back 4 hours later and see how you're green and in profit. Once price done screwing everybody over, it's now moving according to your analysis with momentum in the appropriate direct, like the proper target areas based on that ATR. It's accumulated, it's growing the ATR number. Now, of course, for other traders coming in here, they're like, yeah, but I'm talking about MarketSpy specifically and execution techniques that we discuss here on this channel. You're at an advantage. You don't need that many stops. You let the price dance, kill everybody off. You survive all that because you're sized appropriately, and you can always average in and then worry about a stop loss. As a matter of fact, the strategy on the pyramids requires you to get an entry, take a major profitable position, to take 90% out, and then for the remainder look for a stop loss. You won't believe it until you try it. It won't make sense until you exercise some patience and play with it like that. And then you're officially part of the 1% gang. You're a cryptopocalypse now. Percentage wise, what you risk is what you get. You risk under 1% of your account, you make 1 to 2% of your account. But you don't lose that much because you can afford with leverage to average in and inflate the risk a little bit up to 3-5x tops. And that's very rare where you will need to do that. So a day long, look, say there's a minimum wage. I don't know what the rates are right now, but let's say it's $20 per hour. And I would imagine in other countries it's maybe less. But let's say it's $20 US an hour. What happens if you make $100 in 5 minutes or 10 minutes using 1x leverage with, I don't know, like 0.5 Bitcoin? On any one of these setups on a pyramid without using stop losses, you know, what if it goes against you and you average in and then it eventually recovers? You just made like 1%, 2%, 0.5, 0.3% of your account in a day, which is literally people's hourly, like they have to work 8 hours to get that. So you're not looking at thousands like what's his face. You're looking to start, like, look, people want to go full-time trading and their dream is to replace their current job with trading. My advice is find a strategy that can generate the same amount, not more, not less, but the same amount that your job gives you currently. And if you have the capital to match that, all right? So can you make 50K a year? What would it take? Can you work every day for 12 hours at charts? Because if you want to go work for Goldman Sachs, you got to put in those hours. You're not just strolling in and, hey, 4-hour job, look at the charts, market close, go home. You're there for 12 hours analyzing. More. 12 hours is baby milk. So if you can hit that target of $150, $200 a day, you're making what, like give or take on average, minimum $3,000 a month if you have that one trade every day. And I guarantee you, looking at this chart and the way things have been, you're having one green trade every day. Now, if you're in the platoon, if you have MarketSpy, then that kind of like, it's a given. It's a given. There's simply no bad trades where you have a signal and it doesn't play out. It takes time, but it's always there. And our trades, they run minimum couple of minutes to, I don't know, a couple of days, maybe a week to get to the target area. Like that little drop over there. How many opportunities have you had shorting that into that weekly open? Hell, you could use market button if you have that. If you know, don't be afraid to use market. Don't be afraid to use market over here. Go to your market over here. Just put the number in here, but slam it. Get into it. All right. Go to limit, exit that on limit, balance it out. Pay 0.05% on your position versus 0.075. It's all good. You can use the market button. If you're a beginner, there's a price to pay. You can't use limits only for both. You transition. First, you're an idiot. I was an idiot. You start with smashing the market button. Then you realize, what does limit do? And then you're like, yeah, but limit it's really hard to get in and out on limit because I want like those results. So you start using market, you advance market limit. Then you're using market limit and a trailing stop with like $1 behind, just in case, at entry. Then you advance to limit. Then you advance to multiple limits on multiple limits. Then you advance to chaser versus multiple limits. There's a whole hybrid of systems that you have going on right now. And that's I would imagine that's the majority of our traders here. I'm mostly referring to people here that are maybe watching this stream that are not part of the community 100%. And they're just getting into trades, but 1% family. Let's go. It's basic math. Martin says, I once used the market button and then the price spike. You get really effed. Went into a minus 50% instantly. I mean, I don't know if it's like minus 50% of the account or minus 50% on 100x unrealized. By the way, we never trade 100x. If you see anything 100x, it's only because we use cross leverage, which is basically we're using the whole of our money to make money on top of that money. There's no 100x here. We work with the money that we have. That's the golden rule. We don't break that. And but yeah, it's I don't know. You can be living in New York, $4,000 a month, especially if you're single, no family, decently, and be your own boss. But you have to hit that consistency. You have to take this shit seriously and give up all the Las Vegas mentality. Give up on all the dreams and Hollywood movies and YouTube channels that show you these ridiculous, unrealistic numbers. They lose just as much. You lose a little bit, you're okay. You make a little bit, you're more than okay. You go for that consistency, and then if you have something where you can replenish your account, meaning you work it and it's growing and you can add to it even part-time. That's what you're aiming for. But my Lambo, have you guys tried one of those electric scooters? Do you know how much more fun that is? Have you tried riding a horse, which costs way less than a Lambo? Trust me. Go to Sharjah, UAE. Get on one of those, right? Hell, go to Texas. Get a horse, ride it. Can't go to work with it, obviously. Can't go to a club. But I'm saying, if we're talking about the experience of getting from A to B, I'll take a freaking electric scooter or a horse over a Lambo anytime. Fucking traffic, congested idiots all over the place. You know, you're just sitting there sweating in traffic. Can't even use it to your full advantage. Everything's illegal about it. Owning that Lambo, everything is illegal about it. I don't know. But I understand Lambo is a representation. It's not the actual car. It's the amount of money that can afford you a Lambo. Well, you get there by being in the 1%. A 1% earner is truly a 1% performer in this industry. You go to a quant, forget about quant. Go to a normal money manager. Your average hedge fund that's been hanging out there by a thread for the last 7 years and they're considered to be profitable. Tell them you got 7% a year on your account. 7%. They'll take you in. Show them that you have been doing this for 7 years in a row. They'll take you in. No questions asked. They'll say, how? Tell them, well, I learned. I learned from the best and from my environment. Just don't tell them you picked it up on Carl the Moon channel or Crypto Physics. But yeah, if you can generate those 20% on your account a year, I'm not talking about a day. You guys are going nuts out there. 8% of your account, 20% of your account. I don't know how you do it. I don't want to know. I'm happy with my single digits, consistent days. I'm happy with that. But if you're up there, you're already doing better than all of us combined. Like 75% of all traders on Bybit, on YouTube, everywhere. If you're hitting those numbers, that 1% a day. But remember, with a bigger account, your 1% is going to be like 0.1, 0.01. And that is still the equivalent of what you're trying to, you know, it's your Lambo number. You just can't risk that much. When your account is bigger, your risk becomes high. You know, you cannot afford to lose that. So there's an advantage and disadvantage of trading with a bigger account and a smaller account. You know, and there's also, you know, your bigger account can be your macro, where you just kind of get into it and just hold it for a long time, right? Hold it for a long time, and you can be underwater for like 6 months. It's fine, you know? And then you have your intraday account, and we ride the waves, and we're pretty good with it here. So you're in good hands, and there's nothing that we can add to this whole formula, because it's working beautifully so far. It has been for me, and if you've been following along, because what I'm telling you is how is how you get to that 1% target mark. To buy a Lambo, you can buy a horse. I'm just saying. Oh, Josh is in UAE right now. Yeah, you can ask him. There you go. No lockdown. Go crazy. Martin says, live in Portugal, no tax on crypto. Viva la Portugal. Lambo can't even handle a speed bump. Is almost a metaphor for high leverage trading. Yeah, as you know, obviously. Get a Eurus. Like, I don't even know what that is. I don't even know what that is. No comment. I need to get some more of this grape juice. Ran out of drinks, so I'm drinking my kids' little juice packs with the little straw on top. Don't judge me. Fun fact, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be jealous, but I don't know what alcohol tastes like. Not even joking. I've never had a single drop of alcohol in my life. Now I see a comment there, he's like, how do you get your vodka in the little juice packs? I can't help you there. I can't help you there. I know, I'm a baby. Milk is where I top out. Well, I wish I could have a story to tell you and say that, you know, my uncle was a heavy alcoholic and I despise alcohol ever since, you know. He was abusive and something, but it's nothing epic. Like I never got around it. It was always, you know, people around me drank. I just never got into it. The smell, always, anything alcoholic, anything fermented was always repulsive to me. I don't know why. I don't mind, you know, people having fun, but I'm the biggest weirdo when it comes to parties. Sitting there with a glass of water. But you know, just never tried it. Maybe I will someday. And I was offered all kinds of expensive shit, you know, with history, age, family tradition, the way it was made. But just never. Lots of peer pressure. Come on, come on. I don't know. All right, so yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? This is going to run up. Here's my take on this right now. Here's my take on this. Now, trend flow here is green. We had a little issue here. That's okay. Second attempt. Now, when it's green and this is red, we're buyers. So right now, I have orders scaled in, and it may not. Okay, that's a little much. There's that. It may not actually retrace that far down. So I'm gonna go with check this down to HC maybe. That's a lot. That's a lot. These things they it takes time. It takes time. Oh, by the way, a little reminder for you guys. If you click the cancel all button, you can do this up to 3 times without hitting your rate limits. If you do this individually, like cancel buys, cancel sells, you may create some issues there where you will hit those rate limits. API read write rate limits, or however it works. So just advice. I forget about this all the time, but the golden cancel all button is what you're looking for. If you want to reschedule, recast your ladder. There you go. So now, because of that, it will allow us to basically go long and then cancel again and go long. No issues. Real fast, real smooth. Yeah, keep that in mind. Golden button right here is what you need to do. This monitor is ridiculous. Okay. Stephen Rempel says alcohol is soma for the masses. Does nothing good for you. Respects yours. Oh, I do think that it's the greatest evil in the world. I don't know. I see people having a good time, but right after that, the issues come along the next morning. I've seen it. Can't escape it. It's everywhere, right? And in the moment, it does nothing. Plus, you gotta find a way to enjoy your sober mind, you know, because I don't know what it's like to be drunk, but I doubt that it can replace the sobriety of your just crystal clear thoughts. You gotta enjoy that, you know. But I understand. This, you know, sometimes you need a little escape. It was fine. People do it. I don't judge them for it. The swimming pool is amazing, isn't it? Tonto built it, Martin. Our bot Tonto is responsible for all of these beautiful rooms around here. MarketSpy car stickers. We'll have them next week. Let's see who'll buy them. Put it on your horse. On the back left thigh. The horse's leg. Alcohol, drugs, or whatever doesn't make a person. That's right. Person makes alcohol, drugs, and whatever. Just like the money don't make a man, but man makes the money. Golden rule in life. No, MarketSpy t-shirts. I keep asking you guys, do you want to work with me? Are you good with Photoshop? Let me know. But I haven't had any DMs yet. So I don't approve of the current Cryptopocalypse Now t-shirts because I think we have the material for a sick design, but I'm not the one to do it. I don't know. Would be nice though. Would be nice. For the La Familia. Ernest Hemingway quote, I drink to make other people more interesting. Fun times. Martin, if you can do a real graffiti of MarketSpy and send me a picture, you'll be greatly rewarded. That would be some epic shit. Man, I love graffiti artists. I think their world is so incredible. It's a different art form altogether. Different lifestyle. Principles, mentality. If you're a graffiti artist, bomb a couple of walls with Cryptopocalypse Now, and I'll make sure that that doesn't go unnoticed. Apple tablet, no, I'm talking about like getting a spray can. Going out there and they're watching your back for the police. That would be amazing. Hey, so limit. Put one in there. This wants to go up. This will run. I think this will run. Like 48. There's nothing really in the way. Maybe a little bit. $56. We're really gonna retest the highs? Is that what's going to happen? Beyond this little intraday setup, I have not done my homework here, so I don't know. So here's one thing that we can rely on. Let's take a look at this, right? So we have this chart that we looked at, right? And this chart is telling us okay, so we expected a little chop here, right? Using this line. Get rid of it now. This right here. We were expecting like some sort of a chop in this area. Get done. Then we expected a break of this trend line into, I see a gap here on CME, right? There's a gap right here and we're about to fill it. We're about to fill it 100%. So this candle projection was from this level to here. I thought that it could be one candle, but it ended up being 1, 2, 3, 4 candles here. So we're gonna get rid of that. We already know that was the plan. And what's interesting here is that we had broken out from. Check it out. See that? And I think when we close the gap, or we haven't closed it yet, we're kind of like right at it. Remember this gap? This gap is still here. 100% is going to close it. So expect 48 minimum. That's going to happen. We are going to close this gap. But the thing is, I don't know. I think this level has a potential to get run, meaning we can now overextend dramatically over that level. Maybe over the weekend, you know. And then I'm expecting a decline here. This arch line right here, at this level. So I think I don't know what happened to it, but it's not supposed to be this. Come on. Too far away, I can't see. All right, something like that. So that would be a very natural, highly bullish setup, or is going to run. So my idea is this. Throw in a few contracts on here, way below 1x, obviously. Maybe, like I said, maybe 10k on one BTC. Let it go wherever it wants to go. And if it runs this level, I expect it to go closer to 50 maybe. It's not just going to close the gap and then come back down. Although it's entirely possible that is what it wants to do. And over the weekend, if it closes the gap and then doesn't run it, it goes lower. Now, if it goes lower and I have a position open at this level, then why not participate in the expectancy of this getting run with a decent reward if that happens? And at the same time, why not consider this range as a scale in range, because that would be a bullish setup anyway. So start building a long position along from here all the way down to a retest of this level. So just about there. You know? I can't see. This is way too far from me right now on this other monitor. So let's do it this way. So somewhere around there. The back down to the 40s. So 41. All right. So if it starts to decline using this trajectory that we have projected some time ago, I think this retest and an ultimate cool off period down to about 41, 40 is, I want to accumulate this range, and I think we'll have a bounce away from this level. That'll be the peak of this candle and also this little tiny consolidation here. So that's what I'm expecting in the immediate term. Let's see how it goes. Okay. So over the weekend, let's check the target area here for this breakout that we also predicted. No one had this. Everyone was like drawing all kinds of weird stuff here. We had this like way starting from over here, way in advance. Be proud of yourselves. And we're like, yeah, we made the target, consolidated, and we have this extension. So it makes sense. It makes sense that we close the gap, and then we have a little pullback. Now, target made. Okay. Above here, above this level, 41 is, I don't know what that is. All right. So let's now take a look at a potential trend setup here. So far we've had only so we had the low, first higher low. Mind you, this was we had one over here. And we had another one over here. This was a higher low, right? So this one was a positive, so higher low. And the next higher low is right here. So which makes me think that this is our next key area. Once we close the gap and go higher, what is likely to happen here is if it runs this level into buy here, breaks the trend line, right? Goes back up, like very aggressively, and start bleeding out in this manner. So I think this would make sense because we do have a parabola right now, a very steep, aggressive grind line, and one more tap and we're done. This is a historical graph on Bitcoin, including all the gaps. So we're looking at, yeah, our setup here makes sense. And if that happens, we could be trapping a lot of bulls here. And if it's a larger shape here, or a true maybe a downtrend channel still, and this was a bear rally, then we're in for it. We're going to be buying that 20K Bitcoin pretty soon. So this is very important right now, critical area. And after this, like once we retest this, I think we're looking at a massive opportunity here where, you know, we post a higher here and pull back a little bit. We're looking at a buy and we go higher. So at this point, our trend line would actually call this the next higher low on a daily time frame. Looking at the distance here between these guys, this would make sense too. All right, so let's get rid of all that because just speculating at this point. But, you know, it's part of our tradition, so mind the gap. The gap is going to get filled. I believe we have a long trade set up into tomorrow, the weekend. But the weekend gaps don't get filled on the weekend. So I think we range here and we go sideways, which brings me back to just a little bit of a thought problem, which brings me back to here, and we could be inside of a range here for the weekend. Like this. This would make sense if we trade here next few days. Only 2 days. We just need a couple of candles here. And then we should be able to go for the gap, and then we'll see what happens from there. But it's I'm curious myself because I don't know. I know there's a gap. I know that it would make sense to fill it, and I also know that we can start bleeding out away from this level. But you know, given the momentum and the whole spirit of trading community right now for Bitcoin, you know, it could be the case that it will push us higher. But we were very close to a very decent pullback. We had one attempt here too. This is going to be my third 1L, 2, and third L, like I said, rest somewhere around here. So it remains to be seen how that is going to play out. But we'll keep track of it. And I guess the final element that we can take a look at here is, since we started this uptrend right from over here, take the peak, the fib level here, and it to the lows here, and see that we are this gap is 50%. It's right here. It's the 0.5 fib level, right? At 46, at 47. Now, if this fib level gets run, which I believe it has the potential to, we close the gap and we overextend to right about here, 0.618, right? And that is 51, and that is in line with our resistance zone right there. So that makes sense. That makes sense to me that we could actually overextend here come Monday, and that will be the final straw, because then we're grinding up against this trend line. We'll have a break and the bleed out will commence. That's my official take on it. This is not me looking at signals. This is just what we do here. If you're with it, keep an eye on this potential play. You know that usually it will most likely play out this way to everyone's surprise. But we shouldn't be surprised. Let's just be prepared. Hoping for the best. Preparing for the worst. Having a position open to take advantage of this potential leg up. The final, maybe not the final, but a strong impulse, a continuation that is going to be even more aggressive than all of these candles combined. Why not? And then averaging in, because you know, if there's a difference if you have, let's just say that you took your time and you averaged in big size. So your entry is right around here. Price goes up a tiny little bit, you sell. Boom, 1% of your account. $10 later. Almost at break even, because you would have greater position size at that point. And let's say this, you throw a small number of contracts, the participation price. Those who risk get rewarded. So you throw a small number of contracts and this gets run by like $3,000 mark. So one daily ATR, bam, another 1%. And that's what I'm talking about, consistency. You're not putting in 100,000 leverage contract size here and hoping that it will play out and that's your big break. We already here, and it's gonna squeeze and it's gonna break and come right back down here to that 40 level. 100%. So for me, I'm gonna keep adding small number of contracts towards that mark, and then eventually when this thing finally drops and goes back down, well, we have that plan to average out and we will be okay. A pullback of that magnitude will be bought 100 different price levels on smaller time frames, which will give you plenty of time to average out, exit, and devise a strategy where, or you can do it the traditional way and put a stop loss right here, go big right here, and hope for the best. Or you can short it once it goes up and try to predict the top. I'm just saying, you have ways to play this, but the official way is that which I have described here. And that's for our members for Cryptopocalypse Now. Now I'm going to get into nitty-gritty details inside of our Discord and see if I can come up with an immediate setup over the weekend. And share that there. But for the most part, this is what we're looking for. This is what we're looking at. Okay. Martin's graffiti. How sick is that? How you like that? Look at that. Oh man, killing it. Just killing it. Felix the cat. Smart. Dude. I like that. It's so good. I can almost smell the paint from over here. Work of love. Now imagine you bubble up the MarketSpy logo like this. This is amazing. I like it. I like it. Thank you for sharing. This is that's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun. Wow. Pretty sick stuff, man. Boom. Steven Rampel says, "Wow, did those squiggles just allude to a visible range volume squeeze?" This is what happens when you're trained at the charts. You're just like, some of us are good at graffiti, but on the charts, not on actual walls like Martin there. Okay, so yeah. It's CR's hand that alluded the visible range volume squeeze to the squiggle lines. The squiggly lines that are automatically self-assigned to the relevant parts of the visible range volume squeeze. Yeah, I love that. The graffiti was doing it for me. It was definitely doing it. I like that. Martin says, gets you a buzz. But you gotta put a bandana over. Like you use one of those gas masks, you know? Don't inhale that. The fumes. You know, if I was a graffiti artist, my street name would be Fumes. I would sign my masterpieces with Fumes. Hey, you guys heard about Fumes? Who is that guy? Fumes? Ah, his art is just, you know, it's Fumes we're talking about. With a Z, Fumes. I like that. Good session, guys. Good session. All right, so that was the whole breakdown. That was the breakdown, and I think can you say one more final low? Now, was that the low? Was that the dip? Not enough. Not enough. We need to consolidate here a little more. We have a trend line break. Number one. This trend line break is, I can only see a channel here, but it's not enough. We have 1, 2, that doesn't even count. So I'm very suspicious here. This is where I join the disbelief crowd. If Bitcoin keeps running, I won't acknowledge it. Okay, but according to my setup, like I said, I'm participating in this disbelief stage. Number one, for the next few days, weekend, I don't know how that is going to play out. 2 months, we can speculate here how the gap will be filled. Weekend, obviously the gap will not get filled. But if we pump over the weekend, which is, I suspect is going to be the case, then on Monday, price will catch up and close this gap, close the gap above it, and then we will have a cool off period starting at above 50 basically. Am I going short at that point? Maybe. It's a strong maybe. Because I don't think we can deviate away from this grind line from here, assuming that these are the lows. And the next one is a question mark here. And the next one is here. When that breaks, yeah, I'm going short. But let's watch this trend line as our main frame of reference, because that is a 50 EMA running along below price. So once we break that, and we have a market structure change on 15-minute time frame or 1 hour time frame, where we have the equilibrium zone 3 crossover and price trending below all baselines, we will go short for a prolonged period of dippity dip down to 40 is what's happening. So I don't know if it's here, I don't know if it will start from here, but somewhere in the vicinity, in this range marked by this white line and this top line right here, we're looking at a trade here, ladies and gentlemen. Here, this trend line is my main point of reference. When we break it, resistance will be marked here. So if we run it, I'm participating in this range. I'm gonna let it ride for a little while, and I'm also accumulating down to 40s if it doesn't happen now and goes lower. Momentum is too strong, it will be picked up, and they'll attempt to push it higher, where the low will be marked somewhere in this region here. Because at that point, what I suspect will happen is so we're going to use this point here, second point here, this point here, second point here, to create a channel that is Elliott wave-ish. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, and wave 3 cannot be lower than wave 2. And so it will make sense that we'll pause somewhere around 40, get picked up again, and get pushed higher from that point. This will also create like a cup and a handle here. Visually, this is what it's looking like to me. So yeah, I want to both buy here and participate in a potential upswing here. That's it. That is for the next few days. And if we have smaller in-between setups like tomorrow on the weekend, I'll let you know, because I'll be trading. I'm going to be home on the weekend this time around, so I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward. Sykes. Fumes out here tagging trains with candlestick squeeze patterns. Do it. Go on TikTok. There you go. $1 million idea. If anyone out there was wondering, what can we possibly do here to stand out from the rest? Well, there you go. Become Fumes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's keep this in mind. Remember this. This is most likely going to be our official take on price action. If you want to learn more, join our community. Everyone is welcome. Everyone who's been a MarketSpy user in the last little while now has access to the platoon, and I invite you to go and discuss your trade setups and whatever else. It's a very engaging place. We have lots of traders in there that are regulars, and speculation is sweet, to the point, and usually very profitable. So if you have something to contribute, go ahead and do it. Other than that, let's wait how this develops over the weekend and see what we can do with it on Monday. I'm interested in how that gap is going to be closed, because, like I said, if Monday is what we're looking for to close the gap, then over the weekend, if it runs now, it creates another gap. If it pulls back now, then we're accumulating for a run-up leading to Monday. So, yeah, but I do think it will close. It's right there. Why wouldn't it? You're looking at 48. By that time, you know, it'll get a little crazy. So 50, 51 easy. Yes. I don't see anything else. And I bet you that's exactly what's going to happen. We're going to have a run, pull back, and then an eventual bleed out. Trend line break. And then we're skipping the first dip, because it'll probably keep going lower. It'll be one of those, you know, when you buy support but it doesn't hold, it'll be one of those situations there. And that's it for the stream, guys. Thank you for tuning in. As always, yeah, Jose Del Castillo. Did you say the platoon is open for new accounts? The platoon is open for current market spies. For 6 months, and then they can decide if they want to keep rolling with us, or maybe they're doing better on their own. What? Yeah. So feel free to join anytime that you like, if you're in the Discord already. You guys are awesome. Congratulations once again on the consistency in the last 7 trades that we've had, minus that ridiculous short, which was a pain in the ass to get out of. But you know, with our manage first approach, it wasn't that big of a deal, was it? What else? Yeah, no, enjoy the weekend. Have fun. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you back on Monday here on YouTube. And maybe tomorrow, after tomorrow, depending on what the market... If the market calls me, summons me like a genie from the bottle. If the market rubs me the right way, then I'll see you tomorrow. The genie will be here. We'll grab the crystal ball and see if we can come up with something. All right. Muchas gracias, my friends. I'll see you later. It is time to log off and go to sleep for me. For you, have a beautiful day. If you're on the West Coast. When I say West Coast, I mean like on the west side of the world. Have a great day.